Hi, Peter Jones, author, property investor and ex-chartered surveyor, and in this video I want to answer a question which I'm quite often asked, which usually runs along the lines of, if I take out a buy-to-let mortgage, do I need to give a personal guarantee? Or it could be phrased as, if I take out a buy-to-let mortgage, why do I need to give a personal guarantee? Or it could even be a statement along the lines of, if I have to give a personal guarantee, I'm not going to take out a buy-to-let mortgage. So let's just think about this whole question of personal guarantees. When would you give a specific personal guarantee? Well, the simple answer is, if you're buying properties into a limited company, which many buy-to-let investors are now, why are they doing that? Because there are tax efficiencies. Since the government took away the ability to offset mortgage interest against rents when calculating income tax, it's become more tax efficient for buy-to-let investors to buy into a limited company. And when you buy into a limited company, very often, if not always, the buy-to-let lender will expect you as a director stroke shareholder of the limited company to give a personal guarantee. Now what that basically means is that if you default on the mortgage, they can repossess the property from the limited company, but if there's any shortfall, if they sell the property to get their loan back but there's a shortfall, then they can come and take your assets personally, including your money, if necessary your home, any other assets you've got. It will all depend on the small print of the guarantee, of course, but the worst possibility is that they could come after everything you've got in order to make up the shortfall. Now, I know that that makes a lot of potential investors quite wary and nervous, but this is the reality. If you buy into a limited company, a lot of people expect the limited company to give them a certain amount of protection because it is a limited company. But the bank have to be able to override that security that you gain from having a limited company, so that you cannot just borrow the money and then refuse to pay. The way that I look at it is this way. If you were to take out a mortgage in your own name, there would be an implied personal guarantee that you're going to pay the mortgage. Because if you don't pay the mortgage, if the mortgage is in your own name, then exactly the same thing is going to happen. Eventually the bank will repossess, and if there's a shortfall, they will come after your personal assets. Personally, I don't think there's very much difference. So when people say to me, if I have to give a personal guarantee, then I'm not going to invest in property, or I'm not going to take out a buy-to-let loan, I really think if they're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It is just a cost of doing business. The bank do expect you to pay the loan back. If you don't intend to pay the loan back, then don't take out the loan. That's kind of the way that I see it. Maybe very simplistic, but it works for me. Now, the one big difference, though, between taking out a mortgage in your own name where you don't have to sign off a personal guarantee explicitly, and where you take out a loan in a limited company where you do have to sign a personal guarantee explicitly, is that when you sign a personal guarantee, the lender will ask you to take independent legal advice from another solicitor, not the solicitor who's doing the conveyance or the solicitor who's organising the mortgage usually, but an independent solicitor who can talk you through the terms, the specific terms of the guarantee that you're signing, and then witness your signature. Now, it probably will only take 15 minutes, half an hour at most to actually go through that process, but you're probably going to find that you're going to have to pay something like £400 or £500 to engage the services of an independent solicitor to actually go through that process. Now, I know before you start emailing me that you've got a good deal with the solicitors at £100, that is great. It's one of those all depends things, but a lot of solicitors do charge a lot of money for doing that. And it's just one of the costs of doing business. Unfortunately, we have to go through that. The reason why I'd say it could be just 15 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes, is that the more of these you do, particularly if you keep going back to the same solicitor, they're going to eventually say, well, I know you know all this stuff. You know what you're taking on, just sign here. But before they know you, though, they've got to make sure that you fully understand the obligation that you are taking on when you sign the guarantee. So the summary is, we have to do it. If you want to get the money into a limited company, you have to do it. There is a cost involved because you do have to take the third-party independent advice and pay for that. But in my simple thinking, I don't think it's any different to taking out a mortgage in your own name, because there is an implicit guarantee that you're giving the bank anyway that you will pay the loan back. If you want to do buy-to-let, then unfortunately that's just the way it is. And if you come over to my website, www.thepropertyteacher.co.uk, and click on Learning with Peter, you'll find loads of great resources, including my best-selling home study course, the Successful Property Investors Strategy Workshop, in which I'll take you through how I started my property business with literally none of my own money and bought £2 million worth of property in just 4 years and replaced my day job with passive income from the portfolio. It took me 4 years of trial and error to learn the best way to do this, but because I'm going to show you everything I did right so that you can copy it, and everything I did wrong so that you can avoid it, I'm sure you can achieve far more than me and far more quickly. So please visit my website for full details of this and all of my other resources. And until next time, here's to successful property investing.